Sup boys, Luido here, and after completing every single elite set on all the classes, second in the world, and doing it on even more specs than that, almost 20, I'm pretty certain in making a tier list finally. So 12.0.5 tier list, here we go. Now, the tier list will be ranging anything just below the rank 1 level, because the meta is a little bit different there. So I mean, these guys are not gonna watch tier list anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So anything below rank 1 to, I would say 1.6 currently, because this is the most deflated season we had yet. So 1.8 feels like 2.3 last season, okay? So let's get going. Now, Arms Warrior just got a nice buff last week, looking really good. Yeah, before we start, I did add SS tier because I believe that one spec is above everything else. Now, I'll put the melees to the left, then there'll be range, and then there'll be healers, and then there'll be tanks. So they have their own order, and then the left will be the strongest, right will be the weakest in that order, in my opinion, okay? But those differences will be minimal, right? Okay, so let's get going. The Arms Warrior, after those buffs, it's feeling really, 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 really good. Okay, it's feeling really good. I would definitely say it's S tier, except in a certain lobby, which is a mage lobby, right? Or you could even say the Station Invoker or even Devourer is pretty good because it's kind of unkillable if you have no one to help you lock him down. So, Arms Warrior in the most lobbies is gonna feel super good. Any melee, super good. Even some casters like Shadow Priest, like, Warlock, you can, if it's not triple range lobby, Warlock you can pummel down easily. So, in most lobbies, it's definitely the best class. In some lobbies, it's really bad. Okay? Certain lobbies, it's really gonna be shit tier. But outside of that, it's gonna be probably the best melee out there. Okay? Frost DK. The only thing it has is its gimmick one shot, right? So outside of that, it's not that great. So I'm gonna put it B tier. It's really good in its gimmick, the one shot, but if you're not playing with, for example, against a healer like Void Weaver, which you can, just delete every time, if you're playing against the better players, it's not gonna work out that well. So it's definitely B tier. In some lobbies it could be A tier, but I'm gonna say it's a B tier because there are definitely way better specs than the Frost DK. Okay, now Enhancement Shaman, it's really damn good. Okay, Enhancement Shaman is really damn good. It pumps hard. The utility is perfect. It's just a hard class. It's probably it's probably the second or third. It's top 300 melees, I would say. It's pretty hard, but it pumps hard as well. So it's really good. And in some lobbies, it's very oppressive. Okay. So Sub-Rogue is, I would say, definitely still S tier. It's really good. It's gonna get out pressured in some lobbies, like full melee lobby, and there's a warrior there. It's gonna get out pressured probably, but it's still very, very good. Okay, outside of those lobbies, I would definitely say it's S tier. The cheap shot resets are so oppressive. It's pretty much, it can lock you down very, very hard, and that's why I still think it's S tier. Now, if that was removed, it would definitely drop because it's not as oppressive as it was at the start of the season, where it was the best class there is. Now it's not, in my opinion, but it's still very, very good, especially in the hands of a good player. But it's a 3-button rotation right now, so even for someone who's starting out as a rogue, Sub is a very good, introduction to a rogue because it got simplified a lot. So Sub Rogue is definitely decently easy and decently strong to put it in S tier. Okay, now Havoc is a tough one to rate. Really struggling where to put this one. If I had a tier between A and B, I don't want to do it, but if I had it, I would put it there. It's pretty decent. It's just average, you know what I mean? It's just average at everything. Just average at everything. It does good damage. Defenses are just kind of too weak. And at this point, it feels like, why even play Havoc if there is a Devourer? You know, it's just a worse. It's a worse version of it. That's it. Weaker version of it. Okay. Even though I really enjoy Havoc, it's one of my favorite classes, but it's just average. You know. Fortunately. But if you're like a, as I said, we're not gonna talk about these guys, but if you're rank 1, it would definitely be A tier. Okay, so B tier for an average player. Now, Red Paladin, always good. Always good. I mean, Red Paladin is never bad, I guess. Like, every tier list I did was pretty much S tier, right? So, Red Paladin is still S tier, it's still strong. If you're a good Red Paladin, you will be almost unkillable. Every game will be around 5 minutes long. Guys, if you're playing against a good Red Paladin, every game is around 5 minutes long. It's really hard to shut them down. You need to, go through a lot. Defensives, bubble, lay on hands, magical bubble or physical bubble. Those divine protection shields, all of that. Sacrifice if you're going someone else. They can kite, they're kind of ranged, so you have to go through a lot of stuff to kill them finally, right? So definitely S tier. Plus they have insane burst on the Divine Toll, short wings, very often burst, very scary. So definitely S tier. I would say it's not as strong as Arms, but in general it will have better matchups, because it doesn't have a hard counters like Arms Warrior does. So that's why I'm gonna put it just next to the Arms, even though I think Arms is a little bit more oppressive in some matchups than Red. Okay. Now Windwalker was super busted last season, but this season, sorry, not last season, last patch, but after the nerfs, I would say it dropped to A tier. The one shot is still strong, but we can't really say it's a one shot anymore. Okay, the burst is high. It can do well in melee cleaves because of Fist of Fury, Disarm, and all that stuff. It's pretty decent, but it's not as oppressive as it was, and it's pretty damn squishy. If it was not squishy, we could think about it S tier, but it's squishy. So that's its biggest weakness, and that's why it's gonna be A tier. Okay, high A tier. Now Feral is a tough one as well to rate, because the better you are, the better the Feral will be. But for me, for the average player, it's gonna be a B tier, guys. It's gonna be a B tier because it's in my opinion shifted a little bit this expansion. Like I would say Feral was one of the hardest, and at this point I feel like it is the hardest spec in the game. Okay, it's really hard, and you have to be really good to, like, it's a different playstyle, so you have to be really good to perform with it, and then boom, maybe it would be an A tier. But for the average player, definitely it's going to be B tier, right? Now Survival Hunter, what have they done to my boy, right? Survival Hunter is a shell of what it was, and I can't say anything else than a B tier. The only thing it has, again, is a gimmick one shot like a Frost DK, but it's worse at it than a Frost DK. Okay. Frost DK has a better one shot, it has silence, it has, all that stuff. Survival Hunter has a gimmick, but it doesn't have a silence. It has a stunning to trap, but outside of that, it doesn't have that much. So I would say it's just a weaker version of Frost DK. Now, would I put it in C tier? Arguably, I could. but I mean, I'm gonna... Like, the one shot is really powerful, guys. It's really powerful. So I'm thinking about it. Like, if there was a B C tier, it would be there. Maybe I'll put it in C tier as because I feel like I want to have one of each at least in C tier. Okay, so but I think it's between B and C tier. But now when I say it out loud, I think it's a C tier. If you're not like a Big Max or something, right? You know, for these guys, yeah, it's gonna be still good, but most of us, you know, we're not. So Outlaw Rogue, really, really good, right? Outlaw Rogue was really, really good. And the higher I go, the more scary it is. Now for the, you know, around 1.8, I would say it's an A tier. Like, it's just good. It's really good. Now the higher you go, 2K, 2.1K, I would say it's an S tier. Now if you go to rank 1 range, it's going to be SS tier, but we're not talking about that. So this one is going to be like a, you know, fly class. 1.8, A tier, 2K or above, I would say S tier. It's really good, it's really strong, and it's just like a Fury Warrior version of a Rogue. It's really good. You know, it's really good. And let's go to Fury Warrior. Now, Fury Warrior, my beloved, unfortunately, it's a B tier. All it has is pressure. If you cannot, you know, maintain the pressure, you are useless. So certain lobbies you're really oppressive, just certain ones, like playing against a Shadow Priest, like playing against maybe a DK which is not kiting you, you know, people that don't kite you, and thankfully everyone can kite you these days, right? So unfortunately Fury is a B tier, because arms can actually burst, right? You can get demolished into a big morsel strike. On Fury, no. You need to pressure. It's a ramp up damage. But you're one of the only melees in the game, right? And if you're playing against a mage, for example, which you can't reach because it has 3 roots, it has 2 blinks, which get him out of stun, it has slows, it has, you know, invisibility 2 times, and all you have is like a charge and a leap, you know. You can't maintain the pressure against a good one. So that's why it's a B tier. Now, in the lower ratings, it could be an A tier. In the lower ratings. But everything that's, you know, 2K or above, 1.9K or above, it's going to be a B tier, guys. Depending on the matchup. Now, Unholy DK, the burst is really, really strong. The burst is really, really strong. And I would like for them to put Unholy DK more on consistent damage side than the, you know, this one-shot burst, which is really, really strong. And I'm gonna give it an A tier because the damage is really high. It's pretty decent, but then again, it has rough matchups, like for example Warrior, which is gonna just out-pressure him, right? It's just gonna out-pressure him. So, but it's really good into some matchups, like some casters, like Affliction Lock, Mages, like it's pretty decent, right? Because it has almost all abilities are ranged. Minions have range. It's an anti-mage at the same time, anti-wizard. So it's really good in this meta right now, except Warrior is kind of scary. So, Assassination Rogue. Now this one is tough to rate, as I believe maybe it's better than most will believe. I think it's an A tier. Actually, it's pretty scary burst. The burst is not... Why is it below the other two? Because the burst is just not as often. Like, Sub Rogue has burst pretty much every Shadow Dance. Assassination Rogue has once a minute on Kingsbane, right? But the burst is scary. So, it's not as often, but the burst is scary. So, Assassination Rogue is definitely A tier. And yeah, let's go to the ranges. This is it for the melees, I think I would keep it this way. I think this is perfect. Now, ranges. Affliction Lock is really, really, really good. It's really good. It's tanky as fuck, but it does really good damage. You can't leave it alone, but if you leave it alone, you will die. But it's really hard to kill it. So it's really good. It's borderline S tier, borderline. But I'm gonna keep it in A tier for now. Okay. Now, Fire Mage. This one will be a really hard one to rate as well. I would say it's between A and S tier. It's a mage. Mage has insane toolkit right now, boys. Insane toolkit. Because of that double invisibility, because of blinking out of stuns, mostly, right? Fire Mage has all that. Plus, it has really insane burst on combustion. Combustion is scary, okay? So if you're a good mage, it's definitely an S tier. I think even for an average mage, it would be an A tier. Fire Mage is pretty decent. Like, it's hard to find it. Like, it barely has weaknesses. The weakness would be like hunters, but hunters are kind of ass right now. Okay, so they can dominate at the moment, even though there is a better version of it, right? So I'm gonna keep it in S tier. Now, Beastmaster, again, is kind of a mage killer, right? It's just good. It's like, it's good. It has good CC, it has good damage, it has good burst, it has constant pressure. Like, it has everything. And it's easy to play. It's S tier. No questions here, right? So, and it's good against meta classes, right? So, the only problem it would be is like a triple cleave lobby, like, you know, double warrior or Windwalker monk. That's a rough lobby. That's a rough lobby. But most of the lobbies at the higher will be casters or arms warrior. So it's pretty good overall against everything that's meta right now. Devourer, the new thing. The Annihilator is not that good. Okay, the Annihilator is not that good, and maybe I would say it's an A tier. Now, the Voice card, even after the nerf, it's really good. It's gonna be an S tier, guys. If it was before the nerf, I would say it's definitely the strongest S tier, or even borderline S tier. I'm gonna put it behind BN. Okay, it's not as oppressive as it was. It's really strong in the hands of a good player. They're kind of unkillable for some reason. It didn't feel like that when I was playing it. But now when I see, I was playing against 2.2 Devourer, and goddamn, this guy was unkillable. Unkillable. So, it's definitely S tier if you play it properly. You need to be glimpsing around, you need to be, you know, like a grasshopper. So, it's kind of scary, and I don't like to play against it. It's pretty annoying to play against, but it's really good. Okay, and it's really fast back. Now, Devastation Invoker. I've been saying, guys in the chat, when I was playing Devastation Invoker S tier, Devastation Invoker B tier for me. This is not good at all. I don't know who said it's an S tier, but this is definitely not an S tier class. This is definitely a B tier class. No question about it. Yes, the DPS is good, but the execution power is probably the lowest in the game. Okay, it's gonna be the lowest. Like, to close the game, you're begging to get a crit on your Azure Sweep tier set, right? Then you might get an 80k hit. But you know what is the funny part? I was playing a little bit of Preservation Evoker. Preservation Evoker is hitting 80k Chrono Flames, which are like 1 second cast time. And Devastation Evoker is hitting for 10k Living Flames. So the healer is hitting 8 times as much on the Living Flame. Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So Devastation Evoker is really mid. Like, it's really mid. You might be topping the chart and you will be losing. That's the problem I have. You have to be using your utility, your whole toolkit to the maximum to win. For example, as some other classes in the S tier don't need to use their toolkit to the maximum to win, because they're borderline broken. You are not. Like, no way. You need to utilize whole toolkit and sweat to pull a win. Okay? Definitely a B tier. No one can say otherwise. Okay? Now, Frost Mage. I've been complaining for 2 months already. This baby of Blizzard Princess is SS tier, the only SS tier we will have. It's definitely the strongest spec in the game, no question about it. Anyone who says otherwise is a fool. I'm being nice. A fool. Now, 2 ice blocks, million roots, maybe even more than million roots, which are like 7 seconds long. Like, what are we talking about? Ice barrier, double invisibility on 1 minute cooldown. What? Ray of Frost, 2 charges. Blink out of a stun. You can't even get kidneyed. You get kidneyed, boom, I'm out. I'm just out. Like, what is going on with this class? It has a toolkit of 5 different classes combined into one. It's unfair. It's broken. So it's an SS tier. This needs to be nerfed. Okay? So SS tier needs to be nerfed. S tier... Okay, we'll talk about it later. Demolock. Demolock. I would say it's between A and B tier. It's kind of low on the damage. Like, it's pretty low on the damage. But it does bring a mortal wound. So that's the positive here. The problem is we lost a kick. If we still had a kick, no question, A tier, easy. We lost a kick. So now in lobbies against, example, a mage, example, another lock, you're just way weaker. You can't even kick them. They can free cast against you, literally. And they can kick you for 5 seconds. Oh, I forgot to talk about mage. 7-second kick? What the fuck? Like, why? Why? Why 7 seconds or 6, whatever? Why? Why does the Warlock have a 5 one? Why does the Shaman have a 2-second one? You know? Like, why? It's unfair, right? So Demolock has no kick. And in a triple caster lobby, yes, you do bring mortal wounds, but you bring less damage, you bring no kick. Yes, you're tanky, but Affliction Lock is as tanky and does way more damage. Okay? Indestruction does way more damage if it can free cast, so you're gonna get, you know, pummeled. So definitely B tier, almost A tier, but we're not there. We're not there. Marksmanship Hunter. My main was, fortunately, it got gutted. It got gutted. The nerf we got was crazy. It put it instantly into B tier. Now, I would say it's borderline again between B and A tier. I'm gonna put it in A tier because it's still playable. It's still playable, and I still, like, I had easier time than on Devastation Invoker and on Demolock. You actually can do some damage, you can do some burst and true shot, but I'm missing Sentinel personally. Dark Ranger is kind of gimmicky. It doesn't feel as good to play, in my opinion. So I'm gonna leave it in A tier. Barely A tier, okay? Boomy. Boomy has the same problem as Devastation Invoker. Hard to close the game. But what Boomy does have is a clone, which is probably the best CC in the game. What Boomy has is a root into beam, another CC. which helps you close the game. You will be topping the charts once again. I was playing a Boomy. I did 3 times as much damage as everyone in the lobby, and I still lost. Because the pad damage is crazy good. The pad damage is really good. But the Star Surge damage is weak. Super weak. We did get a buff last patch on the Star Surge, and that's why I'm gonna put it in A tier. If we didn't get a buff on Star Surge, I would put it in B tier next to Devastation Walker. But we did get a buff, so that's why I'm gonna put it in A tier. Okay? And it has better CC than the Walker. So, but they're like brothers, you know, in the same problems they have. Now, Shadow Priest got a okay buff last patch, but at the same time it got a huge nerf, and that's Arms Warrior got buffed. And if you play Shadow Priest, if you get, for example, a triple melee lobby and there's a warrior in it, you will be miserable. Like, I'm a warrior main, but every time I see Shadow Priest and it's triple melee lobby, I just say, hey, sorry man, I know how it feels. So, you know, in those lobbies, it feels like it's a C tier, but in lobbies where there are no warriors, where there are no DKs, it's an A tier. Okay, like in mage lobbies, in rogue lobby, like rogue doesn't feel like it's gonna kill you, you know. So in most lobbies, it's gonna feel like an A tier, but in some lobbies, it's gonna feel like a C tier. You know, if you're playing against the Unholy DK and Arms Warrior, it's almost an auto loss. There's like 10% of you, you know, winning that round. But then again, some other classes you can definitely destroy. Like, it does good damage. Yeah, we're missing that stun into Fear Silence, but Silence is still OP. Silence is insanely good. So I'm gonna leave it in A tier, because it has some good matchups, it has some very bad matchups. Now, Elemental Shaman, I would say actually it's an A tier. Maybe I don't think I'm overrating it, honestly. I feel like it has good closing power. I really do. I think it does really decent damage. It's super tanky, and the burst is scary. It's kind of niche at the moment, because Enhancement Shaman is, I think most people are playing Enhancement Shaman. And Elemental Shaman, I think, is the underdog at the moment. I think it's pretty decent. So I'm gonna leave it in A tier. Augmentation. Well, Augmentation is... I played it for one lobby. I just played one shuffle game. I think I went 4-2 or something. It didn't feel bad. It felt just okay, but it's a very niche spec that only one tricks play. So I'm just gonna leave it in C tier, because I'm not, you know, really sure where to put it. It's just okay. I mean, if it was broken, more people would play it, right? Because people gravitate to what's broken, right? So if it was broken, more people would be playing it. So I'm just gonna leave it in C tier. Now for the Destruction Lock. It feels to me like it's the weakest Warlock spec at the moment, in my opinion. I would say it hits harder than the Demon Lock for sure, but it doesn't bring the Mortal Wounds, and I don't know, it just feels weaker. It's a little harder than the Demon Lock, right? Demon Lock is the easiest Warlock spec. So that's why I'm gonna put it above the Destro Lock. I think they could be on the same power level, but since the Demon Lock is easier, I'm gonna put it above the Destro Lock. Okay? The Arcane Mage. Arcane Mage is the weakest of the mages, no question about it. And probably the weakest caster there we have. It has one cast of School, you know. If you play, for example, against another mage, like if you get kicked on your burst, Arcane Surge and, you know, Touch of Magi and all, Magi and all of that stuff, you get locked for 6 or 7 seconds. I mean, what do you even do? It's definitely the weakest, no question about it. It still has the, you know, double invisibility, but the point is you can't even use it because you're arcane locked. The only thing you can use is Ice Block, you know? So you can polymorph, you can't do anything. That's why Arcane Mage is B tier. It doesn't have the scary burst it had at the start, I mean, in the last season. So definitely B tier. Damn, this is looking pretty equal. I like what we did here. So this is it for the ranges. Now for the healers. I did play pretty much all the healers. I'm not a great healer, by the way, but I'm just gonna give it how it felt to me and how it felt playing with the healers at higher ratings. Now, Resto Shaman feels decent to play, but I think it still needs a little buff for it to push it in A tier. I'm just gonna say it's a solid B tier, like a solid B tier, okay? Now, the Holy Priest. I would pretty much say the same as for the Shaman. To me, it does feel better than the Shaman. To me. I do think it's the easiest healer to play. Okay? So that's why I'm gonna put it above the Shaman. It's definitely easier than the Shaman. It got simplified a lot. It's really, you know, it's a reaction healer. So, you know, your mate just dropped to 20%, boom. You surrendered him almost to 100%. So it's pretty, for a beginner, perfect healer to start with, right? That's why I'm gonna put it in B tier. But I don't think it's as powerful as the other healers we will talk about, okay? Now, Mistweaver, it got nerfed hard. Like, it was an SS tier healer, no question about it. It was so good. But I'm gonna put it in A tier. Mostly because of the CC it has. I think the healing output is maybe not as good as these guys, but the CC chain is just so good. Right? It's just so good. That's why I'm gonna put it in A tier. Now, Preservation Evoker is so good right now. So good. In my opinion, the best healer there is at the moment. It's just crazy good right now. Feels like you have Nullifying Shroud all the time up. The haste is so high that Sleepwalk is almost unkickable. Chrono Flames hit hard, you know, like a rock. And it's just the best healer there is at the moment, okay? Even though it's, you know, probably one of the hardest ones. And now, Resto Druid, in my opinion, the hardest healer. Again, I would say this is the second best healer, but it is the hardest one. Okay? It's like Press Evoker is definitely above it. No question about it. But Restoration Druid is, you know, just hard to play. So that's why I'm gonna put it A tier. Even though I think it's second best healer, I'm gonna put Discipline above it because it's way easier than the rest of them, to me at least. So Oracle is really good. Now Void Weaver, I would say, is very weird, and it feels to play bad with in the team, especially if you're playing something like I don't know, if you're playing a Shadow Priest and you get a Void Weaver in your team, you're instantly dead. Like, you're gonna go 0-3 at least with him. He can't keep you up. There's nothing he can do to make you live. So Void Weaver, I would say, is like a B tier, maybe even /BC. It's good in, you know, comps where you're just going for the kill, but outside of that, feels bad. So the Oracle, I would say, is definitely A tier. It's pretty good, and yeah, I enjoy playing with it. Now Holy Paladin, I don't know, something about it doesn't feel so good. I'm gonna say that. I don't know, is it the healing output? I just feel like Holy Paladins, like, they are all on the same level, I would say, but Holy Paladin healing output feels a little bit weaker than these guys, even though it has better cooldowns, lay, bubble, right, all of that stuff. It has better cooldowns, but the healing output feels weaker, I would say. Okay, so that's it for the healers. Now for the tanks. For the tanks, I would put Prot Warrior in the F tier because it's okay. There is a worse tank than the Prot Warrior. For the Brewmaster feels like it's definitely better than the Prot Warrior. That's why I'm gonna put it in D tier. Same for the Blood DK. It has you know, chains, silence, all that good stuff. But Brewmaster was, as you've seen last patch, it got nerfed in PvP, and the reason was it's better than the other tanks. So sorry, I don't know why I put the Blood DK when I was talking. It's worse than the Brewmaster. So these guys will be in F tier. They both have strong. They're both strong against casters, I would say. You know, they have a challenging shout. They have chains, silence, stuff like that. Really solid against casters. But Brewmaster has the same, you know, leg sweep, incap, Song of GG, which is kind of oppressive, and it does solid damage, but it's just the most weird tank to play in my opinion. Okay. Now, Prot Paladin is always the best tank in PvP, no question about it. It has a bubble, it has a spell bubble or a physical bubble. It has 2 Valkyries, which make you immune to everything. It's like another bubble. It has Lay on Hands. It just has perfect utility. Plus, it has the same burst Red Paladin does, just a little bit weaker, right? So definitely C tier. We could even say maybe a B tier, but I'm gonna keep it in C tier, as it is a tank after all. Now, Vengeance Demon Hunter Z tier, no question about it. The worst tank in PvP we have. It's just, its toolkit is not made for PvP. It's made for Mythic Plus. You know, it just feels gimmicky to play in PvP. Guardian Druid, it was a menace, the beast at the start of the expansion. I'm gonna put it in D tier right now. It still has, you know, that window of one shot in which you could die, especially if you're a little bit lower gear or something. Outside of that, it has nothing. So it has that one shot gimmick. If you don't get one shot, all it can do is cloning, okay? But it won't get a kill outside of it. So if you survive that, you're good to go. And that's it, boys. Seems like the tier list is done. Would I change a thing? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, to sum it up, SS tier definitely needs a hard nerf. S tier might be a little bit overtuned, and we could say it could get like a -5% nerf across the board, okay? For it to be balanced. The balanced, I would say, are A tier. These guys are balanced. Now the B tier could get, for example, a 5% buff across the board, right? So what I would like is for all the classes to be in A tier, and for that to be is like these guys get 5% nerf, these guys get 5% buff. We're all in A tier together. Now this needs to get like a 20%, you know, nerf. These guys need to get, again, maybe 15% buff for them to push it into A tier. And these are the tanks, right? So that's how I feel about it after playing every single spec pretty much in the game and pushing it almost all of them to 1.8. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you agree, if you don't agree, let me know why and what about. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Drop the like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Peace out.